Jamie is an interaction designer, educator, and writer. She's actively developing teaching and learning resource for design educators. She has over 60 years as associate professor of interaction design at Santa Monica College. Let's welcome her.
Thank you, Ning. Welcome, everyone. My name is Jamie Cavanaugh, and I'm Associate Professor of Interaction Design in the Interaction Design Bachelor's degree at Santa Monica College, and I'm also the faculty lead for the program. And I'm here today to tell you a little bit about our Interaction Design degree, which started just this past fall of 2016. We have 19 students in our cohort, and I'm going to talk in more detail about that a little bit later. And I'm just kind of curious. I know we have an interaction design student. Are all of you educators, interaction design educators?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, awesome. Well, welcome. I'm here to talk about IXD programs, community colleges, and the new opportunities. But I'm also here because I really feel strongly about design education. So I hope that you'll connect with me so we can continue to have this discussion. And the two things that I'm advocating today that I'm sure we are probably all in agreement with is to develop more undergrad IXD programs nationwide, and also to better prepare students for interaction design careers. And I do believe that as design educators, we can change lives. When we are able to educate designers and expose them to interaction design, we can make a big difference in their lives. But there are lots of challenges. And so I want to talk today about what some of those challenges are. Design education is in a state of disruption. And I know we're all really super familiar with that word, but I think it really applies to design education. There are numerous new and emerging fields within interaction design, AI, AR, VR. Our student demographic is changing, right? Our curriculums need to be redefined. Our educational institutions have the extremely large task of keeping up with what is currently going on in the field, and we have increasing demand from industry. So I wanted to start out by talking about the changing demographic, because I know at Santa Monica College, we've seen increases in all of these different demographics. So everything from the first generation student who is the first in their family to earn a degree, to underrepresented populations, which are minority groups which are underrepresented in our programs, non-traditional students. And the way that a non-traditional student is typically classified, they're one of several different things. So it could be someone who has had delayed admissions to a post-secondary education, someone who is a part-time student, who works full-time, right? Who is financially independent, who has other dependents, maybe a single parent, and then also sometimes people who have not earned their high school diploma. And then the last one is career changers. And quite honestly, at Santa Monica College, I'm not sure if this is true with your programs, but we're seeing a large increase in the number of students who we would put into this category of career changers. So diversity in student populations. We know there's lacking diversity in IXD programs, and there's such a need for diversity within our field, within interaction design. Another challenge is accessibility, right? And the cost of college, which we're all really aware of the challenges here. So these are based on national averages. So for four-year private institution, runs right around $32,000. For four-year public out-of-state institution, $23,893. Four-year public, almost $10,000, and then a two-year public running almost $3,500. So how do we make design education accessible for underrepresented populations? Because quite honestly, we know that right now that the cost of education is affecting who is in our interaction design programs. So at Santa Monica College, we were very conscious of this, and we were fortunate enough to put together a cost-effective program for our students. For students in Los Angeles or the nearby area who have an interest in interaction design, the choices are, for the most part, private design schools, which can run around $160,000 all in. And we're at Santa Monica College, we're fortunate in that we could put together a four-year program that runs just above $10,000. And that's total for the 4 years. So there's a high cost of college. Many IXT programs are just not accessible to diverse populations of students. And then we also have demand. And I didn't go into all the statistics because we're well aware of the demand for UX and interaction designers. We all know about IBM hiring hundreds of designers. In Los Angeles County, where Santa Monica College is located, and we're in the heart of Silicon Beach, so it's really fortunate. We have an amazing amount of demand. So we know that there's definitely a demand for designers. And then another interesting fact is that I wanted to show some statistics for new and experienced graphic designers compared to UX and interaction designers, because it's actually fairly significant what the income potential can be. So we can see that for designers who are interested in UX design, in interaction design, it can be very lucrative. And so again, exposing more designers to the field of interaction design is really critical. So thousands of IXD careers are high wage, but there just are not enough IXD programs. So again, we need to develop more undergrad IXD programs nationwide. And here's where I believe community colleges really can make an impact, because there's some unique things about community college that I wanted to talk to you a little bit about today. So one of the things that I think we need to just off the bat talk about with community colleges is they're uniquely positioned because they are quick to respond to industry demand, which I think it puts them at an advantage, definitely. And they're also affordable, and they're able to adapt to the changing student demographic. We have a perception about community colleges, and I think that's shifting also. It's an outdated perception, I would say. For a long time, community colleges were thought of as sort of the stepping stone, into the four-year institutions, or a really outdated notion of community colleges, that they weren't for students who couldn't muster the four-year institutions. And that's all changing. And I think that community college is uniquely positioned in particular for interaction design because of career technical education. Because community colleges focus on career technical education, they are prime candidates for interaction design programs. And career technical education, also referred to as CTE, can be various fields, and they are positioned to help students enter high demand, high skill, and high wage industries. And perhaps even more compelling is the fact that CTE also focuses on what we call pathways. And pathways are particularly designed or specifically designed to help high school students enter careers. And I think this is really where we're missing the boat a little bit with interaction design. I'm sure you all experience lots of people asking you, what is interaction design? And so by creating these pathways that we can actually have high school students taking some prep coursework specifically for UX in interaction design, I think that will really offer us the opportunity to expose more students to our field. So community colleges, what's unique about them is they're quick to respond to demand, they adapt to changing student populations, and they offer an affordable education. Okay, so challenge number 2, building an IXD program from scratch. And I wanted to talk about that today because I've just spent the past 2 years doing that. And so I wanted to share it with you because we learned a ton, and I want to talk to you specifically about our interaction design program, and then also talk about some of the lessons that we learned. So it all began with this, with the California State Bill 850, which was written by former Senator Marty Block of California, and he proposed that a pilot program where 15 community colleges in California could offer bachelor's degrees. And it was written so that the pilot program needed to be within career technical education, so they definitely needed to have career focus to them. And they could not duplicate any of the efforts of the University of California system or the California State University system. And I didn't really know this, but I think this is an interesting fact. Currently, including California, there are 23 states in the nation where community colleges have bachelor degree programs. So we are making more progress as far as moving forward with bachelor degree programs at community college. And I'm happy to say Santa Monica College was selected as one of the bachelor degree programs. So we're now the first interaction design bachelor's degree in the country offered at a community college. Okay, so now we had to build a curriculum. And this is where the challenge comes in. We had to build a curriculum, and we had to build it fast. And I mean like breakneck speed fast. So I thought I would just share with you the timeline. It happened very, very quickly because in spring of 2015 is when our program was approved by the state. So the summer of 2015 was all about curriculum development, so we needed to write and develop the interaction design courses and the entire curriculum. Fall of 2015 was the curriculum approval, so we had to go to our Santa Monica College curriculum committee and have all of these courses approved. The state also needed to approve them, so that by spring of 2016 we could have students start applying to our program. just flew by, and then fall of this past year of 2016 is when we had our first cohort of 19 students. So I want to talk to you a little bit more in detail about the Bachelor of Science degree at SMC in Interaction Design. And I encourage you to visit our website, which is at smcixd.org. But I want to back up first and tell you a little bit about our college, about Santa Monica College. We are located in Santa Monica, California. We serve around 33,000 students, and we offer over 90 fields of study. So we are undoubtedly a big community college. And, and I wanted to just tell you a little bit more.
I am an ocean of knowledge and possibilities.
I am accessible. I am the frequency that defines culture. I am the change.
Locally and globally. I am dancing into the bright future. I am a student. I am a teacher.
I am a counselor. We are the designers of our experience.
Conscious creators of our own destiny.
Finding new directions.
We have no fear. We thrive in a culture of awareness and togetherness. We are a society of enlightenment
We are world-class professors
who believe in the power of the human connection to create a better world. We choose
intellectual exploration.
and culturally diverse collaboration.
I draw from the sea of inspiration and sow seeds to create a sustainable future.
We choose sustainability. We choose to be one with our world, to connect with the global community. We bring the world's best artists to Los Angeles, and we never stop learning. We choose this pathway to success.
I choose will and dedication,
I choose personal growth,
one class.
one class at a time.
I am proud to be SMC.
So that gives you a little more of an idea of who we are as a college. And I wanted to tell you a little bit more about who we are as a department. The Interaction Design program is located in the Design Technology department. And we are associated with the Graphic Design program. And within the Design Technology department, we have Entertainment Technology, which offers an associate degree in animation, digital media, or gaming. We have our Graphic Design program. We offer an AS in 2 concentrations, either print and illustration or user experience design. Then we have the Interaction Design Bachelor of Science degree, and then we also have an Interior Architectural Design program that offers an associate degree. And we are happy to say that right now we're located in what we call the Airport Arts campus, but we are slated sometime in 2018 to move back into our newly remodeled and renovated facility, which has been rebranded the Center for Media and Design. And our Design Technology department, along with our Communication and Media Studies department, will be located there. So the mission statement. So one of the first things that we did when we were approved for the bachelor's degree program was to come up with what is our mission statement for the program. And so here's what our mission statement, how it was written, that we're focusing on preparing students for careers as UX interaction designers. Our IXD program consists of methodologies, best practices, it's project-based, and making for interaction design. And you can see I clearly highlighted some of these words because it's really critical to us that it has that career focus, that we are project-based. Almost all of our courses, for the most part, are based that way, and that there's that making component to interaction design. So here's what we call our prep coursework for the bachelor's degree, and it is the Associate of Science degree in User Experience Design. And I just wanted to show you what that comprises of. This doesn't include any of the general education, but it includes all of the discipline-specific coursework. So we have design foundation work in Studio, sketching, typography, design foundation 2 with a Studio 2, typography, motion, portfolio, and professional practices. And then we have user experience and interaction design. And you can see that we have quite a lot of depth in those two areas. So we've got in user experience, design research, and 2 UX courses. And in interaction design, we have a series of 3 web design courses and mobile design 1 and 2. So I think this is really where we are unique in that students spend those first 2 years of their coursework being able to cover design foundation and also interaction and UX foundation. So I'm going to talk about this a little bit later, but basically how deep we can get in year 3 and 4 because of all of this prep work. And here's the interaction design coursework for Bachelor of Science degree. So in year 3, semester 1 and 2, they have a couple of interaction design studio courses. We have interactive storytelling. We've got scripting, game studies, small group communication in semester 1. And in semester 2, in addition to the studio class, product design, principles of either marketing or entrepreneurship, and an advanced writing course. And then in year 4, semester 1 and 2, we have another studio class. And then for their final semester, we have what we're calling Interaction Design Senior Studio course. And this is considered our capstone course. It is industry sponsored, where students have the opportunity to work with industry, where they're working as part of teams on a large end-to-end product system. We've got design for community change, tangible interaction, project management, a cognitive psychology course, and then in the very final semester, along with that capstone senior studio, we also have portfolio and internship. So we really focused on what those career skills are, right? So, and wanted to be as comprehensive as we can possibly be, definitely in those last 2 years, but quite honestly through all 4. So I wanted to show you some student work from our program. And so just to kind of put it in context, this was a Interaction Design Studio 1 class. This is from last semester. So this is their very first semester of the Interaction Design program. And the final project was based on mobility. So we wanted our students to pick an area of the city in Los Angeles somewhere and go out into the field and do research and uncover that problem. So we were very much dealing with what we call that ill-defined problem, right? Like we We're not going to tell you exactly what the problem is. You go find what that problem is out in the community. And so there's a need for talking to others and coming up with that concept. So here is a project done, and it was the community that they chose is Westwood Village, and it is an interactive wayfinding system. So it is a wayfinding system for pedestrians, and what's interesting about it is that the students incorporated an interactive kiosk and augmented reality to enhance that interaction. And then we've got a project that was done regarding smart crowd management, and this was for the community of West Hollywood. So our designers went out into the community and came up with a concept to bring safety, engagement, efficiency, and rich data to city events. And it was quite an interesting concept because, of course, it can be applied to other events that are located throughout the city, not only West Hollywood. And then here's another project that was based on the community of Miracle Mile, and it is an integrated smart parking network that makes use of underutilized commercial parking spaces. So pretty much, it's sort of an end-to-end systems design. And we wanted to introduce this concept of designing for systems early on in their curriculum in order to better prepare them especially for that capstone course. So when they are in year 4, semester 2, that they're better prepared to have a successful outcome. So challenge number 3. Here I wanted to talk about the lessons that we've learned, because it was quite a learning experience. And I would say that the first thing, and it's ironic that as UX/IXD designers, it always comes back to this, but it's know and understand your audience, right? And in this context, I would say talk to and know who your applicants are, who the people are who are applying to the program. Also know and understand, your students while they're in the program. And what we have really found, and I'm curious what you find in your programs, but that our students lead fairly complicated lives. That notion of, you're a full-time student and this is what you do all day long and you have all your time to devote to your studies is kind of unrealistic. And so that impacts everything, like the fact that evening classes are probably pretty helpful for people who most likely have at least part-time work or online courses. So knowing more and understanding who your audience is. And this was a tough one. Educate your constituencies. At SMC, it was a real challenge making sure that everyone had the information and knew about the bachelor's degree program. And this kind of goes back to what I said a little bit earlier, is that we're always have the challenge of explaining the field, right? Like what's interaction design? And so I'm going to use counseling as an example. When your counselors are not really sure what interaction design is, that can be a roadblock. So making sure that the counselors know about interaction design, that your scholarship office knows. I mean, for us, it was like, okay, we have this new program. We want to get some support for it. And then outreach and recruitment. When your college is going out and recruiting, they clearly need to know about your program in order to do proper outreach to those different groups. And then I would say, and here is a picture of our cohort, that extra support for students and just sort of overall. And this one we're still learning. because it's a tough one. You know, it's everything from they're going to need more, you know, counseling, more mentoring. Again, it sort of relates back to, you know, people lead complicated lives. They need help in sort of navigating it on all different levels. Portfolio, our admissions is portfolio based, so it's talent based, and I think it kind of surprised us how much support that requires. Everything from telling your students who just earned their associate's degree and are interested in the interaction design program, no, you need to put your portfolio together, you should apply. You know, sort of that encouragement, making sure they understand what the requirements are for applying. And then I think we all are challenged by the third one, which is scaffolding, right? Making sure that we've got the right balance of, you know, sort of transferring the responsibility to our students, but not, you know, leaving them completely in the deep end of the pool, right? So scaffolding it properly so we can, you know, support them and we can get to a successful outcome. And then finally, challenge number 4, which is educating the next generation of designers, because that's really what we're doing. As UX interaction designers, it's that next generation of designers. And again, this ties back to that better preparing students for interaction design careers. So everything from, you know, it's pretty obvious about covering the hard skills in your curriculum, right? Like product design, UX, service design, Internet of Things. We're pretty familiar with what those hard skills need to be. But when we talk to our interaction design advisory board, the thing that they kept saying over and over and over when we were developing our program is we need designers who have soft skills, who know about interpersonal communication, how to work on a team together, how to communicate both, you know, written and verbal, how to present, right? And so we specifically focused in our program on building, writing a curriculum that would help to build those skill sets. And then making sure that your curriculum has what I call breadth and rigor. So rigorous, definitely, but I think breadth is important also. And you can see here that in the blue is what we consider our prep work for years 1 and 2. And so that's where, as I mentioned before, they're getting their design foundation, and I would call it interaction design foundation also, where they have multiple UX design courses, web design, mobile design. And then when they enter into the bachelor's degree program, we can go really deep into interaction design because we've got 2 years, we've got 4 semesters of covering, you know, 4 studio classes, product design, tangible interaction, and then, you know, everything moving towards that final semester of the capstone, portfolio, internship. And I will also mention, and I think this is important to point out, that this is to move them forward into industry, or I don't know how many of you are in graduate programs, or moving them into grad schools, right? And I think that's a really interesting, you know, concept, is that maybe it's the affordable bachelor's degree, and then, you know, you move into a graduate program. That maybe that costs a little bit more, but in a community college bachelor's degree or at another institution that's more affordable, we can easily actually educate them so that they have multiple interaction design courses before they would enter your graduate program. And then here's a call out to getting more of industry involved in your interaction design program as instructors. and design researchers, UX designers, interaction designers. We try to do this as much as we can at SMC, and we are fortunate that we have industry who really does support us by coming and teaching in our program. And I feel strongly that in general we need to support educators, and I think in particular educators who are adjuncts and or who are coming from industry. Because I'm always thinking about our adjuncts. They have a professional practice, and then it's like, here, teach this course, and good luck, So one of the things that I'm particularly interested in, and I'm working on developing, is teaching and learning resources that can be shared. Because I think there's a lot of duplication of efforts. We're all kind of doing the same thing. I see this with adjuncts, so it's like, let's share coursework or course content, right? So that we're not all duplicating efforts. So being able to support our educators is critical. Okay, so here's the call to action. And this includes all of us. What's the future of interaction design education? I really think it is up to us as design educators. And we have so many opportunities right now. So I think we really need to think of ways to benefit from those opportunities. So everything from seeking diversity, right? We know our industry needs diversity, right? We need designers who come from all different backgrounds. So we need to seek that diversity in our design programs. Support accessibility. This one's kind of tough because we all know about the increasing costs of education, but we need to expose more students, more prospective designers, maybe at the high school level. I think is a good place to start, to interaction design, so that we can change the demographic of who is able to study interaction design. And then defining a curriculum, right? And this can be applied to at the undergraduate level and graduate level. Like coming up with, maybe not standardizing it, but how do we define an undergraduate program? And how is a graduate program different than the undergraduate curriculum? So it is up to us, all of us in this room. And here are the opportunities again: diversity, accessibility, curriculum. I think these are things that I know that I'm really interested in having more discussion regarding. And then here's sort of an action plan and things that I've covered that, again, I think would be interesting to have more discussion about. Clearly developing more undergrad programs nationwide, understanding your students, supporting who is able to enter interaction design programs, inspiring high school students, definitely educating across your campus about what interaction design is, preparing students for interaction design careers. So everything from developing deep and rigorous curriculum, involving industry and teaching and advising, developing shared teaching resources, so giving support. And that can definitely mean full-time, but I think it's like at the adjunct level, and for people who are in industry who are teaching, who it really relates to. And then preparing students for interaction design graduate programs. Because for those of you who are teaching in graduate programs, I'd be curious to just find out sort of what your experiences are about sort of where your students are at when they enter the program. So thank you very much, and I hope we can continue this discussion. Thank you.
accepting students like undergrad program, right?
Yes.
And you talk about the portfolio. So like, what kind of portfolio they need to have in order to get accepted? Because like I was a student once, and I really want to get like design school, but I have no idea. Even for the portfolio part, I just graduated from high school. So how that can you talk about?
Yeah, that's a great question, and I would also add to that to apply to the Interaction Design Bachelor's Degree program, the applicant needed to either be what we consider like a junior, meaning they had to have completed 60 units, right? Or they could have industry experience, and fortunately at the community college level, we can accept applicants who have already earned a bachelor's degree. So that was sort of the qualifications. And then for portfolio, we're looking to see in a applicant's portfolio that they're showing we're looking specifically for their work in interaction design. So maybe it's a website, maybe there's mobile applications that they have designed and developed, or it could be any other kind of product design or something that illustrates where their skill level is now. So most of our applicants are showing us sort of that prep work that they are that they've worked on, completed projects from either our Associate of Science degree or from other design or institutions locally. Did that answer it? Or? Okay. Thank you. Yes.
Hi there.
Hi.
I'm Daniel. I'm from Brazil.
Oh.
And quite far. But then I could relate very much to your talk because I teach in a very similar institution, much incredibly smaller, but in a similar scenario with night classes and students leading very complicated lives as well. But I teach at the graphic design department. There's a graphic design bachelor's degree, and I work as an interaction designer in the industry, and I teach the interaction design courses there.
Thank you. It's a challenge.
And I could relate so much because right now, and one of the reasons why I'm here, is I'm trying to come up with an interaction design curriculum for the institution so I can launch an interaction design either associate degree or bachelor's. But I could tell that my biggest challenge is also convincing the board, but also raising awareness for what interaction design is, because as a small institution, we're a private institution, so we don't relate on government that much. I fear very much that if I just launch a program named Interaction Design, people from the industry will relate to, but my target audience will not. So how do you raise awareness for that specific field? What kind of actions?
Yeah, that's a great
take.
Yeah, I can tell you what we did, because even though we're in Los Angeles and we're located in the heart of Silicon Beach, which is kind of like hello, right? We went out to industry and asked them for letters of support, and that really helped quite a bit with the Board of Governors and other constituencies on campus to see that. I mean, because you can say, oh no, there's lots of demand for this, but until you
Exactly,
have
that's the
something
point.
that is tangible, right? Like, here are all these letters. We were able to get 100 letters of support from industry, from students. That can be really helpful. I know our students were great at reaching out and saying, we really would benefit from having an interaction design program. So perhaps that could be one of the strategies. And then I would say probably just going out and talking to a lot of the different constituencies, right? Like, the more they know about it, the more support, hopefully, that you will get.
It's a very similar scenario there. It's in we call it the Silicon Island. It's an island, it's the capital of a state in very southern Brazil. And the main industry in the city is tech. So there are a gazillion tech degrees, and I think there's 6 or 7 graphic design degrees in the city, but no interaction design, I think, throughout the state altogether. And so there's incredible demand. I have problems hiring people because I can find that many interaction designers. And again, in the field it's very well known, but to the overall population, when I say interaction design, they just frown and
Yeah, we have the same experience, and I would even say that with like our board for the college,
as well.
is that maybe they kind of understood what interaction design is, but probably not. But what really appealed to them, the diversity issue, the affordability issue, that really got them excited. Because everyone wants to champion a program that can serve, the community and students really well in that. So I do think that like getting people to really understand what interaction design is it can be a challenge, but that there are other really meaningful reasons they could get behind it.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yes, yeah. Thanks for sharing all of this. It was really interesting. I was curious as you were developing the curriculum. I can't remember if you said you open sourced your curriculum or not, but I was curious about there's a lot of stuff being open source right now. I was curious if that was a resource that you found useful. I see like kind of either students right out of bachelor's right now, kind of like trying to make small groups of learning that's more affordable, kind of like. Is that something that you found useful and will use going forward, or was it still kind of too fringe?
And so you're talking about the open source of curriculum. You mean like our course outlines?
Yeah.
Like the curriculum you can find just, what it is. But we use Curricunet. I don't know if anyone else uses it, but it's public. Like most people can just go on there and you can look at all of our courses. That's for the entire college. And so we have shared through Curricunet for instance, like our user experience design coursework with community colleges who are located nearby because they don't currently have UX design courses, and it just benefits all of us if they do. So we've shared, our course outlines of record with them. So we have, it's not truly open source, but anyone can get to them. And then the second part of your question was about
just about like was that something that you feel like it's like working with the open source community or these kind of grassroots educational communities would be something that is useful to you going forward?
Yeah, what it has really affected is the other nearby community colleges, because obviously we're trying to develop articulation agreements, right, so that their students could then enter the bachelor's degree program. So it has definitely affected that. And then another big change is that we are focusing on those pathways because of the pathways for career technical education, including high school students. So things like, dual enrollment, where a high school student can actually have prep work in graphic design or user experience design at high school that prepares them for college. So it's created a lot of collaboration in those ways. Yeah.
Maybe we have a room for one more question.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyone else? I'm just curious, since it's so small, where are you from and what
Well, I'm based here in New York City.
Oh, you are?
I teach at a community college, the Borough Manhattan Community College, and also grad school at Parsons School of Design.
Oh.
And professionally work during the day as an interaction designer. So.
Great, thank you.
And I'm also from Los Angeles, so I don't know. This resonates with me
Yeah.
actually in many ways. I guess I don't know. Congratulations for starting this program.
Thank you.
It's great.
Yeah.
Are there many BA programs in IXD? Because a lot of the stuff has been more the realm of graduate studies, I think, and it's exciting that it's there.
Yeah. Yeah, well, ours is a bachelor's of science. There just happens to be a bachelor's of science in interaction design at Art Center, which you guys know that's in Pasadena, so it's practically in our backyard. But I'm not sure if that's true. There are some BF BFA programs,
Mhm.
you know, also. But you know, just locally, I know in the state of California, when students were interested in continuing their studies in interaction design, there just were not very many options, and I'm not sure if that's true here in New York, but
Others,
maybe
yeah,
so.
yeah, Parsons and YU.
Yeah. Right. And here's Casey, who's one of our students. I'm gonna call her out. And where are you?
Oh, I teach at Parsons interaction design undergrad, and then I'm about to teach product design for the grads.
Interesting. Very cool. And
I teach here at the interaction design program, the grad program.
fantastic. And I know you're the next speaker. And are you teaching in the
PhD upstairs.
Oh, okay. Awesome. Very cool. And then, Amy, are you a student?
Yeah, I'm a student here. SVA interaction design business.
Well, thanks to you guys for all coming, and please connect with me because I would love to continue having these discussions and talking more about it. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.